The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-2, in conjunction with Colfax High School, presents Viking Pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings boys game. And now, Viking Pregame.
Good evening and welcome to the NLWN-2 studios. Rick Olson here, and tonight the Colfax Vikings are trying to get back on the winning side of things as they travel to Elk Mound to take on the always powerful Elk Mound Mounders. Both teams won their opening Dunn St. Croix conference matchups, but then the Vikings in their next conference matchup to Spring Valley fell 69-48, while the Mounders are coming off a 53-49 win over the Durand, Arkansas Panthers back on December 12th. Now, coming up in this edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Elk Mound Mounders and the Colfax Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Height's perspective on today's game in Coach's Corner. Then we'll take a quick look around the Dunn St. Croix Conference to see how teams have made out in their early rounds of conference play. Following that, our broadcast crew will bring you all the play-by-play action of today's game between the Elk Mound Mounders and the Colfax Vikings. So it's time to get ready for some exciting high school boys basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout as you're tuned to Viking Pregame on NLWN-2.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame as we're getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's Dunn St. Croix Conference game between the Colfax Vikings and the Elk Mound Mounders. The Vikings are coming into this game following a 69-48 loss to the Spring Valley Cardinals on Tuesday, while the Mounders defeated the Durand, Arkansas Panthers 53-49 back on December 12th. Now, in that loss to Spring Valley, the Vikings started out strong and then ran into foul trouble. That's where the Cardinals took over, and try as they might, the Vikings just couldn't close the gap. Now, leading the way for the Vikings in that effort was 5'11" junior Orion Nichols, who hit on 6 field goals, including 3 three-pointers for 15 points.
To Polkowski, back to Nichols for 3, drains it.
5'6" sophomore Trey Larson nailed 2 three-pointers and 2 field goals and a free throw for 11 points.
Out to Larson. Larson for 3. We're tied at 19.
The Elk Mound Mounders come into tonight's game with an overall record of 3 wins and 1 loss and are 1-0 in the Dunn St. Croix. Their only loss this season comes at the hands of the Prescott Cardinals 66-51 back on December 9th. The Mounders have 4 players averaging in double figures and are being led this season by senior guard Cale Knutson, who's knocking down 44% of his shots from the floor, including 37% from three-point range, while averaging nearly 14 points per game. He's being followed by senior forward Logan Jerome and freshman shooting guard Zeb Robinson, as well as junior Victor Noller. Those 3 are averaging right around 12 points per game each. On the boards, watch for Jerome, who's pulling down around 9 rebounds per game. In addition, Noller is grabbing nearly 7. Now, so far this season, leading the way for the Vikings is Aiden Fisher, who's averaging over 23 points per game. He's followed by Orion Nichols, who's scoring over 11 points per game, and Russell Pukowski, who's chipping in just under 11. On the boards, Pukowski leads the way with nearly 11 rebounds per game. He's followed by Nichols and Fisher, who are grabbing 7 and nearly 6 boards, respectively. Now, coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Nick Height on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on NLWN-2.
Be right there.
Wait.
Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Today we're talking with Viking boys head coach Nick Height. And coach, in just a little bit, the Vikings are going to be taking on the Elk Mound Mounders. But before we get to that game, on Tuesday, the Vikings dropped a tough, hard-fought 69-48 decision to the Spring Valley Cardinals. Your thoughts about that game?
Yeah, I think the physicality in that game was something that we struggled with. You know, we gave up 22 offensive rebounds. You know, it hurt with Russell getting 3 fouls in the first half. I think that was a big turning point in the game. It was nice Wednesday. We watched a lot of film on it. I think we can learn a lot from watching that, and hopefully we can grow and get ready for tonight.
Now, in that game, you mentioned him, your young freshman, Russell Pukowski, was given the task of holding the inside against the Cardinals' senior Mason Wolf, and it sure appeared like a physical mismatch with Pukowski getting the short end of the stick. This demonstrated the maturation difference between a freshman and a senior. Your thoughts about Russell's performance in that game?
I think it gave him a big opportunity to grow. I think that was something, I don't know if he's seen physicality quite like that. You know, it's also tough when, you know, you also don't have Logan in there at 6'6". I think that can make a big difference. Hopefully he's back by the time we play them again. I thought we did a pretty good job of packing it in early of our strategy of trying to front the post and make them make tough interior passes. But again, too, you know, I think just staying down, I mean, with as many rebounds as he had, you know, he only had 4 points in the game. So he didn't do a particularly great job of finishing around the rim. And it was a tough task for Russell. You know, I think, again, like growing and being disciplined to stay down and staying out of foul trouble is very important for our team.
Now, one of the areas the Vikings struggled with, and you already alluded to it a little bit, was rebounding, which allowed Spring Valley to convert on quite a few transition baskets. What can the Vikings do to even up the match on the boards?
I think team rebounding is a big thing. Our guards need to do a better job of rebounding. It can't just be, you know, Russell and Orion down there getting boards. You know, credit Theo, he had 5 offensive rebounds. So, I mean, he did a good job. I just think our guards need to be more involved in the rebounding aspect, especially, you know, again, without Logan at 6'6", you know, we don't have the size that we had at the beginning of the season. So, again, just team rebounding, making sure that we're talking on a shot so our defenders know when the ball goes up, and then finding our guy instead of watching the ball go up at the rim.
You mentioned Theo Hovde, and he's a guy who's about 5'6", 5'7", and plays like he's 6'5". He goes up there in the land of the giants and grabs boards. What kind of a value is a kid like that to a team like the Vikings?
Yeah, he's a leader. He's a kid who, I mean, you'll never have to question his effort. Wants to help the team in any way he can. And he's not afraid of that physicality and going up and getting in the mix with the bigs. So credit to him. You know, I mean, he just works his tail off in practice and games, and just a way that hopefully our younger guys really see that, and hopefully they can mimic that as they start to get older of how hard you need to work.
Now, in the last couple of games, the Vikings have been in pretty physical games, and the Vikings have been getting banged around a bit. How are the boys holding up health-wise?
Well, you know, we got to get rid of the illnesses. I know Aiden was pretty sick on Monday, didn't practice Tuesday. You know, he still wasn't feeling great. You know, I think the physicality Hopefully we can get better at that aspect. And, it's going to start in practice. But I think we're doing all right. I think yesterday with the snow day, a day off, as much as I didn't like it, I'm sure the kids kind of probably enjoyed that a little bit.
And after as much physical play they've had, day of rest like that isn't the worst thing in the world.
No. One thing I will say is Elk Mound was supposed to play last night too, so it would have been nice to have them on a back-to-back. But, they haven't played in a week, so it'll be interesting to see how they come out and play tonight too.
As you mentioned, tonight the Vikings are going to take on the always powerful Elk Mound Mounders in what is probably the closest thing that the Vikings have to a crosstown rivalry. What can you tell us about the Mounders and the challenges that they present?
Well, they'll be able to shoot. As always, it'll be fun to go back home for myself and see a lot of people that I know. It's a great rivalry that I've been a part of for a long time. And, Friday night, Colfax Elk Mound game, there's going to be a lot of people there. It's, two great communities kind of going after each other. We know each other pretty well. So I'm really excited for our guys to get an opportunity to play in this atmosphere. It's going to be a playoff type atmosphere tonight. It's going to be hard to hear at times. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, Coach Hite, good luck on tonight's game. Hopefully the Vikings can come out strong and find a way to get back on the winning track.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Rick.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame. Tonight, the Dunn St. Croix Conference continues conference play. Now, last Tuesday, the conference was nearly in full swing. That includes the Vikings dropping a tough loss to the Spring Valley Cardinals 69-48, and it was the Durand, Arkansas Panthers 69-35 winners over the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. The Glenwood City Hilltoppers topped the Mondovi Buffaloes 52-48, while the Boyceville Bulldogs got into a real dogfight when they stepped out of conference play to take on the Chautauqua Weyerhaeuser Bulldogs. Chautauqua Weyerhaeuser coming out on top in that one, 74-55. Tonight's conference games include the Vikings at the Elk Mound Mounders, the Durand, Arkansas Panthers traveling to Glenwood City to face the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. It's the Mondovi Buffaloes hosting the Spring Valley Cardinals, while the Boyceville Bulldogs and the Elmwood Plum City Wolves face off in Plum City. The Viking boys are looking to get back to winning, and they'll have their work cut out for them as they face the Elk Mound Mounders. The Vikings will need to be ready for another physical contest, and hopefully they have developed the stamina to play a solid entire game. Meanwhile, the Mounders would like to keep pace in the Dunn St. Croix with front-running Spring Valley. So the stage is set for some exciting high school boys basketball, with the Colfax Vikings facing the Elk Mound Mounders. Now in just a moment we'll send it out to Elk Mound High School, where our broadcast crew is ready to bring you all the action of today's boys game. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on NLWN-2.
My dad was a farmer. The guy was bigger than life. He wasn't someone that liked to show his emotion or liked to show when he was struggling, but we all struggle. I want to show emotion to my kids. It's something that brings me so much joy, and I want them to see me working through things. Allow your kids to know that it's okay to struggle, that even dad doesn't know the answer sometimes, but we're gonna figure it out together.
You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Viking Boys game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Stay tuned, coming up next is live Colfax Viking Basketball. It happens to everyone eventually, your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Slayton's Technology Services can help. When your computer decides to not cooperate, it can be very frustrating. Let Slayton's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Slayton's Technology Services supports business of all sizes. They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Slayton's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Slayton's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Colfax Viking Boys Basketball is on the air.
Takes it to the top of the key, puts up the shot, he hit it! Fisher hits
The Northern Light Webcasting Network, along with NLWN-TV, is excited to bring you Colfax High School Boys Basketball.
Around, feeds it underneath Orion Nichols, and he put it up and in.
Yeah, great
Vikings back on top.
Join us as we follow the Vikings while they battle their way through the Dunn St. Croix Conference.
And they get it to Charbonneau, back to Larson. Three-pointer, he hit it! Trey Larson hit the three.
And now out to the gym for today's Colfax Viking Basketball.
And not cross in front of your cooperation. Well, basketball match between the Colfax Vikings and Elk Mound Mounders. Starting for the Vikings, a senior, number 2, Theodore Hopney. A senior, number 4, Aiden Fisher. A junior, number 10, Orion Nichols. A junior, number 12, Charlie Charbonneau. And a freshman, number 30, Russell Polkowski. And now, for the Mounders, a freshman, number 1, Seth Robinson. A senior, number 3, Logan Jerome. A senior, number 4, Kate Knudsen. A sophomore, number 10, Cameron Nearby. A junior, number 34, Victor Noller.
Good evening and welcome to Elk Mound, Dunn St. Croix Conference Boys Basketball action. Colfax is in road red with white numerals and trim. They'll be moving right to left as we are seated behind the scores table, and Elk Mound in home white with orange numerals and black trim. And here we go. Ball's up and it's tipped to the Mounders' Victor Noller and stolen away by Theo Hubdy. Hubdy waits up off the glass, doesn't go. Reload by Fisher, no good. And it's stolen away by Zeb Robinson. Out in the corner going to Logan Jerome, who was putting up threes in the warm-up. Missed, rebounded by Hubdy. Hubdy down on the far side. Moving in the center to set things up. Half a minute gone here in the first half. No score. Fisher up top left. Elk Mound in a man-to-man. Fisher back to Hubdy around the arch. Up to Charbonneau. Driving in now is Fisher. Fisher comes out, fires to Nichols. Nichols falls backwards but gets it back to Charbonneau. Charbonneau's shot hits the rim and the top of the backboard, and it's rebounded by the Mounders' Noller. Up the floor to Logan Jerome. Jerome to Knudsen. Back out far corner to Noller. He'll take a look inside to Jerome. He can't hang on to it. Picking it up, Fisher. Fisher driving toward the hoop. Pass over to Polkowski, and he traveled. I'm Jay Fall here with Dan Petshaw, Chris Olson on the camera, and our executive producer, Rick Olson. We're coming to you from Elk Mound High School. Still no score. We're at 16:38 to go here in the first half. Cameron Diermeyer fires it off to Robinson. Now near corner, three-point attempt over the rim by Knutson, and Polkowski is going to pick up the rebound, but then he travels with it. So it's going to go back to the Mounders underneath. Cameron Diermeyer will throw it into Robinson. Robinson halfway down to Knutson, into Jerome, knocked away, stolen by Ryan Nichols. Quickly up the floor it goes to Fisher. Fisher for three, in and out, no good. Rebounded by Diermeyer. Mounders bring it up the floor. It's Jerome. Fires off to Noller. Give and go to Zeb Robinson. Robinson feeds Noller inside, back out to Jerome. Driving in now, Diermeyer hands the ball off to Noller. Noller puts it up and can't drop it. Mounders are going to keep it as the ball goes out of bounds. Still scoreless at 15:51 to go in the first half. Mounder JV team beat Colfax 66-15 earlier. Driving, Noller off the glass and good for the first points of the night. 2-0 Mounders, 15:42 to go in the first half. It's Hovde. Hovde to Fisher, back out to Polkowski. Polkowski trying to get the ball to his teammates, and it bounced off of Victor Noller of the Mounders. Into Hovde. Set it up for the Vikings. Fisher on the left, drives in, makes a move, has to get rid of it, goes out to Polkowski. Back down on the baseline to Hovde. Out to Fisher. He's being guarded by Logan Jerome. Top of the key, three-pointer. Bounces off the back of the iron, but Hovde there with a rebound. Hovde fires it off to Nichols. Nichols into Polkowski. Polkowski to Fisher. Fisher drives, makes a move on Jerome, goes up, draws a foul. That foul is going to be charged to Zeb Robinson. First foul of the game. That is going to put Aiden Fisher on the free throw line for two. First shot, good. 2-1 Elk Mound, 14:51 to go in the first. Second one, bangs around, doesn't go. Rebounded by Noller for Elk Mound. Robinson across the timeline to Knutson. Knutson trying to get it inside to Jerome. Jerome's going to fire off to the left side to Noller. Noller's going to go up from the lane and put it in. 4-1 Mounders, 14.5 to go. First half. Off to Fisher, free throw line right. Fisher to Hovde, trying to get it inside to Charbonneau. Knocked out of bounds by the Mounders, Cale Knutson. 14:16 left first half, 4-1. Elk Mound leading Colfax. Into Hovde, flips it out to Nichols. Nichols over the top, right into the hands of Cale Knutson for the Mounders. Knutson to Diermeyer. Diermeyer back out to Noller. Noller's shot missed, tipped around. Robinson comes up with it. He'll fire to an open Diermeyer. Diermeyer will go in with a layup, misses it. Reload up and in for Victor Noller of the Mounders. 6-1 Elk Mound, 13:50 left first half. Hovde. Fisher, Polkowski. Polkowski for three. Pulls the Vikings to within a pair, 6-4 Elk Mound. Approaching 13.5 minutes left first half. Diermeyer to the free throw line, dishes it off to Jerome. Jerome down underneath to Noller. Tipped around, Noller reloads. That doesn't go. Rebounded by Polkowski. Polkowski to Hovde. Hovde fires off to Nichols, and it's Polkowski for three. And the Vikings take their first lead, 7-6, 13 minutes to go in the first. Diermeyer, give and go to Robinson. Fired over to Logan Jerome. Jerome nails it from the parking lot. 9-7 Mounders, 12:42 left, first half. Theo Hovde out of the backcourt for the Vikings to Polkowski. Polkowski drives in. He'll pass it back to Orion Nichols. He's down in the near corner. Out to Fisher. Fisher being guarded by Logan Jerome. Up on top to Hovde. Over to Charbonneau. Charbonneau having some ball handling issues, and we're going to have a jump ball. It is possession, Colfax. Elk Mound 9, Colfax 7, 12:20 left to go in the first half. Nichols fires it into Hovde. Then to Fisher out on the free throw line, extended right. Trey Larson for three. Bangs around the rim, doesn't go. Rebounded by Zeb Robinson. Robinson to Knutson. Knutson driving in off the glass. Good. 11-7 Mounders. Inside 12 minutes left. First half. Hovde. Hovde off to Fisher. Over to Polkowski. Polkowski up from the lane, in from 8. Colfax pulls back to within 2, 11-9. Robinson. And Russ Polkowski's got a bloody nose, so he's going to have a seat. And Charlie Charbonneau checks in for him. 11:36 to go in the first. Robinson throws it into Diermeyer. Going to get the rest of his teammates set. Parker Dutzley now in the ball game. Out over to Cale Robinson, or Cale Knutson. Knutson, a baseline layup on the left. 13-9 Mounders, 11-12 to go, first half. Charbonneau to Fisher. Fisher out to Trey Larson. Larson to Hovde. Out to Charbonneau. Larson. Charbonneau took an extra step on the way in. 10:54 to go, first half. Elk Mound 13, Colfax 9. Diermeyer out to Knutson. Robinson down to Diermeyer. Diermeyer will drive the lane again. He'll fire off to Parker Dutzley. Three-point shot missed. Rebounded by Theo Hovde. Hovde waiting for somebody to get down there. He'll pass it back to Fisher. Fisher will make a move and drop it in on the left side. 13-11. Elk Mound's lead, 2 points. Top of the key, bangs around, no good for Elk Mound. It's going back to Colfax, out of bounds. Jay Fall, Dan Pecho, Chris Olson, and Rick Olson with you from Elk Mound, Dunn St. Croix Conference Boys Basketball. Theo Hovde with the ball. Fisher, top of the key. Three for Colfax. Vikings lead now, 14-13. Huxley to Robinson. Robinson from 20. He drains it. About the same place that Colfax just did. And it's 16-14 Mounders. 9:38 to go. 3-point by Fisher. Rebound knocked out of bounds. It's going back to Colfax. Nichols off the fingertips of Cale Knutson. So Ryan Nichols is going to throw it in, and we have a substitute. Brody Niven is going in for Cale Knutson, who's going to have a seat. And Russell Pukowski checks back in. Up top it goes to Hubdy. Charbonneau. Back to Larson. Larson stopped up, heading into the lane. He's got to get rid of it. Fires it to Fisher. Fisher goes up, and we are going to have a blocking foul. That is going to be charged to the Mounders. Number 10, Cameron Diermeyer. He's a senior guard. And that will award Aiden Fisher 2 free throws. Join us in only 4 days on NLWN-TV and NLWN-2 for our annual Christmas gift to you, where we bring you some of the finest holiday-themed old-time radio programs. Free throw number 1, good. This year, we will be featuring Fibber McGee and Molly, The Jack Benny Show, the Screen Guild Theater's presentation of A Christmas in Connecticut, and an episode of The Shadow. We'll bring you our Christmas gift to you on Christmas Eve, December 24th, 7 p.m. on NLWN-TV and NLWN-2. The second free throw ties the game up at 16 as we approach 9 minutes left in the first half. Diermeyer comes from the lane, ball knocked down by Fisher. He picks it up and puts in the layup, takes it coast to coast. Vikings lead by 2, 18-16. 8:50 to go in the first. Cameron Diermeyer out to Robinson. Robinson three-pointer missed. Niven with a rebound. He puts it back up, but then the reload by Victor Noller goes in for 2. We're tied at 18. Hubdy crosses the Elk Mound Tower in the center of the court. Driving, Aiden Fisher, up and in. Vikings 20, Mounders 18, 8:15 to go in the first. Diermeyer out to Dutzel. Ball tipped by Colfax, but it goes back to Brody Niven, and we're going to have a foul on that tip. It's going to be charged to Russ Polkowski. That is his first and Colfax's first of the first half. So going to throw it in, Cale Knutson for the Mounders. Goes into over to Brody Niven, who misses the three-pointer. Elk Mound's going to keep the ball, though, out to Cale Knutson. Knutson to Dutzel. Back over to Knutson for 3. Rolls off the back iron, tipped around, rebounded by Polkowski for Colfax. Hubdy. Gets some instructions from Coach Nick Height. Passes the ball. Hubdy. Over to Nichols. Top of the key. It is Polkowski. Shot missed. Rebounded by Cale Knutson. Vikings up by 2. Inbounds. Inside. It goes to Victor Noller, and we're tied at 20. 7-10 left in the first half. Hubdy to Larson. Back out on top. Ryan Nichols takes a look. He'll dump it down in the far corner. Driving in on the baseline, waiting, going up, and drawing the foul. Charlie Charbonneau is going to get a couple of free throws. And those are going to come courtesy of number 3, Logan Jerome. He's the senior forward. First one up, that one's missed. We're going to take a Christmas break from sports on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, but the boys will be back in action New Year's week, Monday, December 30th. Second free throw goes in, and Colfax wants a timeout. 6:53 to go, first half. Colfax 21, Elk Mound 20. You're watching Vikings Boys Basketball on NLWN-2.
As you check names off your gift-giving list, Dairy State Bank encourages you to shop local as much as possible. The reasons are countless. For example, local businesses create 2 out of every 3 new jobs in the U.S. each year. There are times you could save a few cents by ordering online, but when you shop at a local store, you could be saving your community. Shop local for the holidays. It's more important than ever. Dairy State Bank. Banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
The boys will be back in action Monday, December 30th, the Monday after Christmas, and you can see that on NLWN-2. Vikings will travel to Augusta High School to take on the Beavers. Our coverage begins with Viking pregame at 6:40, followed by live play-by-play action. Pass goes out to Knutson. Knutson to Gutzel. And three-point shot, banged around, missed, but rebounded by Victor Noller. He'll put it off the glass and roll it in. Noller puts the Mounders up by 1, 22-21.
Yeah, 12 points for Noller.
Hubby, or check that, that's Fisher. Fisher caught traveling. So the Mounders get it back on the turnover. Niven out of the backcourt. Niven off to Jerome. Back down to Dutsley. Three-point shot. Rebounded big off the back iron. Pulled down by Aiden Fisher. Fisher across the timeline. Dishes it down to Larson. Larson for 3 air ball and into the hands of Victor Noller for the Mounders. 22-21, Mounders by a point. Brody Niven outside the center jump circle goes out to Logan Jerome. Jerome to Knutson, back to Jerome. Three-point shot, back iron, tipped out, and it's rebounded into the hands of Nichols. Driving, Hovde, high shot, bounces off, no good. Rebounded by the Mounders, Cale Knutson. Knutson guarded by Hubney. They feed Jerome. Jerome turnaround jumper for a pair. And Elk Mound up by 3. 24-21 as we approach 5 minutes left to go here in half number 1. Fisher down inside to Nichols, and we're going to have a foul underneath. That is going to be charged to Elk Mound's Cale Knutson. That is his first foul and the 4th foul for Elk Mound here in the first half. Not a shooting foul, so the Colfax Vikings will get it underneath their own hoop. Ryan Nichols will toss it in on the right side. Nichols looking around, getting the count, finds Fisher. Fisher dumps it back to Nichols. Nichols goes up, and we're going to have a blocking foul underneath. That's going to be charged to Zeb Robinson of the Mounders. He's a freshman. Wow. Inbounds throw goes into Polkowski. He can't get the ball or get the shot off. Mounders get it back. Noller from the corner bounces right back to him. Going to give it another shot, and he'll drain that one. 27-21, a 6-point Elk Mound lead. 4.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Out to Fisher. Fisher's shot rolls off, and a foul's going to be called on Ryan Nichols going over the back of Zeb Robinson, the freshman. That is the 2nd foul for the Vikings here in the first half. First foul for Nichols. Cameron Diermeyer across the timeline. Give and go to Peyton Veith. Opposite side, Cale Knutson. Dierauer inside to Knoller. Knoller being guarded by Polkowski. Nice block by Polkowski. Ball goes back to the Mounders, back to Hovde. And Polkowski with his nostril stuffed coming back in. Nice shot by Trey Larson. A bucket for the Vikings. 3:45 left to go first half. Elk Mound 27, Colfax 23. And Diermeyer trying to get it inside. Ball will bounce off one of the Vikings out of bounds. So Diermeyer will try to put it in again. Jerome into Veith, back to Jerome, and he nails a 20-footer. 30-23, a 7-point Elk Mound lead. 3:26 left. Hovde fires it in to Nichols, who puts in a nice 5-footer. 30-25 Elk Mound. Vikings pull it to within 5. And another 3-point attempt, and trying to rebound it is Hovde, and they're going to say he was fouled by Cale Knutson of the Mounders. That's his second and the team's 6th, so that will put the Vikings in the 1-and-1 bonus on the next Elk Mound foul. Charbonneau into Hovde. Hovde driving the left side of the lane, tosses it back to Fisher. Fisher, free throw line, finds Charbonneau open in the far corner. Charbonneau keeps moving in, and he is going to score the basket and is fouled on the way in by Peyton Veith. That's Peyton's first foul, and basket is going to count. 3-point play attempt here with one free throw.
Yeah, good job by Charlie Charbonneau there. He had to muscle his way in and draw that foul.
30-27, Elk Mound leading Colfax with 2:52 to go in the first. Shot missed, rebounded by Jerome. Jerome quickly up the floor to Diermeyer, and we're going to have a foul on Ryan Nichols. That's the second foul for Nichols, and only the third foul of the half for the Vikings. That will send Cameron Diermeyer to the free throw line for 2. Diermeyer makes the first. Coming up on January 6th, the Northern Light Webcasting Network will broadcast our 500th event. Be sure to stay tuned for special announcements and special awards for our loyal viewers. It's all coming up January 6th, 2025 on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Second free throw missed, rebounded by Theo Hovde. Hovde fires to Polkowski. Polkowski out to Fisher, and Fisher took a step. Traveling violation on Colfax. 2:32 left first half. Elk Mound 31, Colfax 27. Cameron Diermeyer up, off the window, too hard, rebounded by Polkowski. He'll give it to Hovde. He'll set things up for the Vikings down on the other end. Hovde dribbling in the middle, fires off to Nate Edwards. In for the Vikings. Halfway up to Polkowski. Polkowski with a pass to Fisher down on the baseline to Hovde. Hovde heads toward the far corner, drives in, out on top to Edwards. Edwards back to Fisher. Fisher is going to be called for traveling as he falls to the floor after trying to make that shot. 1:52 remains first half. Elk Mound 31, Colfax 27. Dunn St. Croix Conference rivalry matchup. Diermeyer fires into Jerome. Jerome having trouble containing, comes up with it and puts it in for a basket. 33-27 Mounders as we approach a minute and a half left. First half. Hovde out to Polkowski, off the glass, too hard, rebounded by the Mounders, Brody Niven. Niven to Diermeyer. Diermeyer up the floor to Noller. Noller out to Dutzley. Driving in, Niven. And Dutzley's three-point shot falls way short. And we're going to have a foul. Well, let's see. No, that ball went out of bounds off Colfax's. Charlie Charbonneau. No, off the Mounders, sorry. And the Vikings get it back. Down by 4, under a minute to go in the first half. Hovde to Polkowski. Inside, Charbonneau's shot falls just short. It's rebounded by the Mounders' Niven. Dribbling it back to get instructions from their head coach, Dennis Arneson. Niven with the ball now. He got it back from Dutzley. Back out to Noller, and it looks like they're going to be holding it for the final shot of the first half here. It's Noller being guarded by Polkowski. Back out to Cameron Diermeyer. And it's stolen away by Aiden Fisher. Layup is good. Colfax pulls a little closer. Now the ball goes up and just hits the rim from Logan Jerome on the buzzer. And at the end of the first half, the Elk Mound Mounders lead the Colfax Viking Boys by a score of 33-29. We invite you to stay tuned for halftime programming. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on NLWN-TV.
When you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it, rest assured, you can still get that meal by going to Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Mom's is open daily, serving breakfast and lunch, and don't forget dinner on Friday nights with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee is always hot, the breakfast is always delicious, and lunch will put a smile on your face and in your stomach. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub.
To get your lawn or garden to perform at attracting what you want, you first need to know what your soil is working with. That's where Midwest Environmental Consultants can help. Their soil testing service can give you a complete rundown on your soil's nutrition and health. They test for nitrogen levels, phosphorus, potash, micronutrients, minerals, pH, and organic matter. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants put you in control of your soil's health. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. That's Midwest Environmental Consultants, serving Western Wisconsin.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Time now for Viking Halftime, with today's Viking profile and other halftime entertainment. That's coming up right after this.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Russell Pekowski, who is a freshman here at Colfax High School. Russell, we know that you play basketball, but are you involved in any other activities here at school?
No, not really. Just basketball.
When did you start playing basketball? And what kind of experience have you had?
I think I started around the 3rd grade, and it's been really nice.
Okay. And what's the most important thing that you've learned playing basketball?
Teamwork, probably.
Okay, and how do you get to demonstrate that?
Just making good passes, playing with the team, getting to the right place.
And so when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some other things that keep you interested or occupied?
Guitar, play video games.
Okay. All right, here's a few rapid fire questions for you. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Ice cream.
And which kind?
Cookies and cream.
All right, very good. Hot dog, burger, or brats?
Burger.
And what do you want on that burger?
Ketchup, cheese, pickles.
Okay. All right. If you could have a superpower, what would that be on?
The ability to make every shot.
There you go. All right. If you had that ability to nail every shot, you have to have a superhero name to go with that. So what would it be?
Probably Russell the Muscle.
Russell the Muscle. Okay, I like that one. All right. Favorite NBA team?
Bucks.
And favorite collegiate team?
Wisconsin Badgers.
All right. Now, if you could sit down and pick the brain of anybody in sports history, who might that be, regardless of what team they played for, what sport they were in, or whatever, whether they're alive now or not?
Probably Blake Johnson.
And why?
I just want to know what's going on here sometimes.
Okay. I suspect you're not the only one. All right, we're talking with Russell Pekowski here on Viking Profile, and what are your plans for after high school?
Probably try to make it to college for basketball, but if I don't, find some other way to make it.
So how about a shout out to your family and friends that come to watch?
Hi, Mom.
All right. When people watch Viking games, what number are you going to be wearing, and where are we going to find you on the floor?
I'm going to be wearing number 30 and probably dunking the ball or getting rebounds.
All right, we want to thank Russell Pekowski for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? I'm high. Oh.
Located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping, and I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong. Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's Viking game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Elmer loves to giggle. Elmer's mommy taught him that laughing can help when you have a big feeling, like when you feel happy. Make sure to celebrate when you're happy and laugh it out. Love your mind.
Halftime at Elk Mound. The Mounders lead the Vikings 33-29 at the half. Dan, let's take a look at the numbers.
Yeah, here's the scores right now for the Elk Mound Mounders. Leading would be number 34, Victor Nahler. He has 15 points. Logan Drome has 10 points. We have Kale Knutson with 4. Zeb Robinson has 3. And Cameron Diermeyer has 1 for the Colfax Vikings. They're led right now by number 4, Aiden Fisher. He has 14 points, followed by Russell Polkowski. He has 8 points. Charlie Charbonneau has 3, and Ryan Nichols has 2. 33-29 Elk Mound.
In the JV game, the Mounders won 66-15. Tonight's Colfax High School basketball game is brought to you by Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for Western Wisconsin. Anderson Bridges, who have been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Menominee Eye and Optical, with quality, personalized care for you and your family. C&K Construction, concrete experts for the Chippewa Valley. And Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax, comfort food the way Mom used to make it. Be sure to thank these fine sponsors by doing business with them. Soon they bring you Colfax Viking Basketball on NLWN-2, as well as the girls on NLWN-TV. So the Mounders are going to start with the ball. We're changing ends, of course, so the Mounders are moving right to left as we look on, and it's Cameron Diermeyer who gets the inbounds pass. The Mounders start out with a 4-point lead at halftime. Pass goes to Cale Knutson. Knutson out to Robinson. Robinson inside to Jerome. Jerome turnaround jumper too much. Rebounded by Polkowski. Now Hubdy across the Elk in the center of the floor. Pass goes around the horn. Charbonneau. Polkowski then to Hubdy, back out on top to Fisher. Fisher drives the lane, coming in from the corner. Charbonneau. Charbonneau trying to get it inside to Hubdy. Ball stolen away by Jerome. He'll bring it up the floor for the Vikings, and now Hubdy takes it back from Robinson of the Mounders. Hubdy goes up off the window, too hard, rebounded by, or too high, rebounded by Cale Knutson. Knutson bringing it up the floor for the Mounders. Knutson to Cameron Diermeyer. Diermeyer out to Jerome, near corner, three-point attempt missed, rebounded by Fisher of the Vikings. Quickly up the floor for Colfax. Fisher drives in off the glass, no good, rebounded by Cale Knutson. The 2-4s keep trading it back and forth here. Cameron Diermeyer nearly loses it. Hubdy came around, smacked the ball, and it did get to Robinson. Elk Mound still has it. Back to Diermeyer, and 20-footer, three-pointer in and out, rebounded by Russell Polkowski for the Vikings. 16-12 to go, second half, 33-29, Elk Mound. Hovde out to Nichols. Oh, ball almost got away there. Charbonneau went back to get it. Top of the key, Fisher, three-pointer off the rim. No good. Rebounded by the Mounders' Diermeyer. Diermeyer up the floor to Knutson. Knutson drives in over the top of Hovde. That one rolled around and out. Ball still in Elk Mound's hands down there. Left side shot too short. Rebounded by Robinson. Top of the key, Jerome puts it in for three. Elk Mound 36, Colfax 29, approaching 15 and a half minutes left in the second half. Out to Polkowski, Polkowski to Fisher. Fisher inside to Nichols. Nichols from the lane, hits the rim and out, tap back to Polkowski. Polkowski will bounce it back to Fisher. Fisher pulls back, 16-footer, good for a bucket. 36-31, Colfax trailing Elk Mound by 5. Coming up on 15 minutes left. And we're going to have a player control foul called on Victor Noller. Ryan Nichols is going to throw it in to Theo Hovde. Last night's girls basketball game against the Elmwood Plum City Wolves has been rescheduled for February 4th, where it'll be part one of a girls then boys doubleheader. From the corner, Theo Hovde over the top. Rebounded by Cale Knutson. Down the floor to Robinson to Diermeyer. Down in the near corner, Jerome up for three and gets another one. Logan Jerome has been hot from outside the arch.
Yeah, Logan Jerome has 4 threes so far.
Ooh.
He's got 16 points.
Hovde drives along the right side and trying to get the ball, and it's knocked out of bounds by Elk Mound. Cameron Diermeyer was the last to touch it. Elk Mound has an 8-point lead, 39-31, as we're near 14 minutes remaining. Second half, inbounds throw goes to Aiden Fisher right along the far sidelines. He'll dribble it out of there, now take it back in. Stolen by Cale Knutson. Knutson, layup, good. 10-point lead for the Mounders. 41-31. Hovde out of the backcourt, and we have a timeout called by Colfax. They want a full timeout. 13:40 remaining, second half. Elk Mound 41, Colfax 31. You're watching Viking Boys Basketball on NLWN-2.
C&K Construction is your source for high-quality concrete and construction work in the Chippewa Valley. Established in 2014, C&K Construction in Chippewa Falls is a leading concrete contractor proud to serve Eau Claire, Altoona, Menominee, and surrounding areas. Specializing in concrete construction, excavating, flatwork poured walls, and much more, they're right for all of your concrete needs. Call C&K Construction in Chippewa Falls at 715-559-1335.
Menominee Eye and Optical can help you see the world for the beautiful place it is. Doctors Nicholas and Marianne Comro provide comprehensive and emergency eye care for all, including pediatric and special needs patients. Whether it's examination for glasses to cataract or LASIK care, or diagnosis and management of macular degeneration, and so much more. In addition, Menominee Eye and Optical's experienced opticians will help guide you to the highest quality eyewear for the best value. That's Menominee Eye and Optical, 520 Wilson Avenue in Menominee, where they specialize in quality personalized care for you and your family.
Vikings have been outscored 8-2 so far here in the second half. 13:40 remaining. Vikings with the ball into Russell Polkowski. Polkowski to Hovde. Hovde up top. Over to Fisher. Charbonneau. Top of the key. Looking for one. Nichols to Hovde. Out to Polkowski. Driving in. Fisher. Fisher up from the lane, shot blocked by Logan Jerome, and it goes out of bounds off of the Mounders. Colfax will keep it. And and inbounds pass deflect and knocked out of bounds. Now it's knocked out of bounds off Elk Mound. And Zeb Robinson puzzled. The official said it went off of him. I think they're going to reverse that as officials are talking down on that end. It's going back to the Mounders. 13-13 to go, second half. Elk Mound 41, Colfax 31. Cameron Diermeyer. Diermeyer out to Robinson. Robinson off the glass, no good. Reload, good for Victor Noller. Inside 13 minutes, and Elk Mound up by 12. Hubney, top of the key, give and go to Fisher. Fisher out to Charbonneau. Charbonneau to Fisher. Fisher, Polkowski. Over to Charbonneau. Charbonneau being guarded by Cale Knutson. Back to Fisher. Fisher goes in around a couple of Mounders and puts in the layup. 12:22 left, second half. Elk Mound 43, Colfax 33. Inside, it's to Victor Noller, and we're going to have a foul underneath on Theo Hubney.
Foul number 2, Theo Hubney is first of the night. Back in for the Vikings, number 3.
10-point Elk Mound lead. Give and go out to Diermeyer. Diermeyer stopped in the lane and going up as he falls to the floor with the shot. A loose ball gets to Cale Knutson, to Robinson, out to Diermeyer. 3-point attempt, bouncing off big. Robinson rebound. Dumps it off to Noller. They try it again. We're going to have a foul underneath. That is going to be called on the Mounders, Logan Jerome. That's his second. So the Colfax Vikings will get the ball back and bring it up the floor. Theo Hubney out of the backcourt. Jay Fall, Dan Patchock, Chris Olson, and Rick Olson with you from Elk Mound, Colfax High School Boys Basketball. Out on the left side, Trey Larson. Larson manages to roll that off the foot of Cale Knutson. We have 11 and a half minutes to go in the second half. Colfax is down by 10 to the Mounders. Polkowski to Fisher. Free throw line right, Trey Larson looks back to Fisher. Fisher's going to drive in on the left side, out to Hubney, back to Fisher. Fisher nearly loses it, gets it back. Goes up. And we're going to have a blocking foul called on Logan Jerome. That's going to go.
Fouls on Logan Jerome. Gives him 3 fouls.
And number 34, Victor Noller.
So some substitutions for the Mounders. Inbounds to Polkowski. Polkowski off the glass and good for a basket.
Russell Polkowski has 10 points.
Zeb Robinson down the near side for the Mounders, out to Diermeyer. Back out on top to Dutzel. Robinson, give and go out to Diermeyer. Knocked away, stolen by Fisher of the Vikings. He'll bring it up the floor. Out to Larson. Larson makes a move off the glass. No, rebounded by Noller. Diermeyer, now Fisher trying to get the ball away and going up with it. We're going to have a foul called on Orion Nichols. No, they're going to charge that to Polkowski. That's his second. It's going to give Cameron Diermeyer 2 free throws. And the first shot bounces around a lot and goes down. Diermeyer sends the second one up. That one's short. It's rebounded by Fisher of the Vikings. Hubney brings it out of the backcourt for Colfax. Hands it off to Fisher. He heads down to the near corner. Fisher drives the lane out to Nichols. Nichols' three-pointer missed. Rolled back out to Polkowski. He'll take it from the top of the key and drain it. And as we approach 10 minutes to go in the second half, it's Elk Mound 44, Colfax 38. Noller up off the glass. That shot doesn't go. Rebounded by Nichols. Nichols gives it to Hubney. Vikings will set it up. Vikings down by 6. Larson to Hubney. Into Polkowski, standing at the free throw line. Out to Fisher. Fisher, shot missed. Hubney trying to get it, and it's rebounded by Diermeyer. And Diermeyer loses the ball. And Colfax is going to bring it back to their end. Join us in only 4 days on NLWN-TV and NLWN-2 for our annual Christmas gift to you, where we bring you some of the finest holiday-themed old-time radio programs. This year we will be featuring Fibber McGee and Molly, the Jack Benny Show, the Screen Guild Theater's presentation of A Christmas in Connecticut, and an episode of The Shadow. That's Christmas Eve night, 7 p.m. And we're going to have a jump ball. That is going to be possession Colfax. Ryan Nichols to throw it in. And it looks like Fisher got scratched. Join us on Friday, January 3rd, 2025 on NLWN-TV as we bring you Colfax Viking girls basketball. The Vikings will face the Bloomer Blackhawks from Bloomer High School. Our coverage begins with Viking pregame at 6:40, followed by live play-by-play action. Orion Nichols looking to throw it in, tries to go up top. Ball stolen by Brody Niven, and then we have a foul on Theo Hubney. That's Hubney's second foul and the third foul of the second half on Colfax. Elk Mound gets it out on the side. Last night's girls game against the Elmwood Plum City Wolves has been rescheduled for February 4th. That'll be part one of a girls then boys doubleheader. Cale Knutson to Brody Niven. Inside to Noller. Noller will bounce it over to Niven. Niven will put in a layup on the left side. 46-38, Mounders, 8:50 remaining second half. And Polkowski for three, catches the side of the backboard, rebounded by Logan Jerome. Fired to Cale Knutson. Knutson is going to be fouled on the way down. That's going to be on Theo Hubney. That's Hubney's third foul. And the fourth on the Vikings in the half here. Niven's going to throw it in. High to Jerome. Niven gets it back. He'll fire it inside to Noller. Noller hook shot, missed. Rebounded by Russ Polkowski. Polkowski has the ball knocked away by Parker Dutzel. Dutzel on the outside, fires it into Jerome, makes the basket, and draws a foul. Foul's going to be called on Trey Larson of the Vikings. So Logan Jerome trying to finish off a three-point play here, and he sinks the free throw, puts the Mounders up by 11 with 8:17 to go in the second half. Hovde up the floor. Give and go to Larson. Larson's going to make a move. Back out to Nichols. Nichols to Polkowski, to Fisher, Hovde, down on the baseline to Trey Larson. Fisher, Polkowski, Hovde, over on the far side. To Larson. Fisher drives in, and he's fouled on the way in. Looks like a hand check on Logan Jerome. That is his fourth foul. And Logan Jerome's going to have a seat. Ryan Nichols will toss it in for Colfax. Underneath far side. Inside to Hovde. Hovde out to Polkowski. Polkowski drives, goes up, and he's fouled on the way in by Victor Noller. He's going to the line for two. Join us on Monday, December 30th on NLWN-2 as we bring you Colfax Viking Boys Basketball. The Vikings will travel to Augusta to take on the Augusta Beavers. Our coverage begins with Viking pregame at 6:40, followed by live play-by-play action. Polkowski makes free throw number one and pulls the Vikings to within 10. 49-39, 7:36 to go, second half. Polkowski with the second is good as well. Mounders turn with the basketball. Cameron Diermeyer. Mounders up by 9. You can go over to Knutson. Back down to Robinson inside to Noller. Noller goes up over the top, puts it right in. Elk Mound leads by 11 as we approach 7 minutes to go, second half. Give and go to Fisher. Fisher takes a look, now drives toward the free throw line. Out to Larson. Larson for three. Catches the front iron. Robinson manages to come up with the ball, loses it. Goes to Fisher. Fisher's going to go off the glass. That shot is short. Robinson rebounded to Diermeyer. Elk Mound gets it back on their end of the floor. And now a three-pointer by Knutson. Airballed, and we're going to have a turnover to Colfax. Polkowski doing a really good job of covering Victor Noller on the baseline. Hovde crossing the center jump circle now, going down off the glass and in! Theo Hovde with a layup. 9-point Elk Mound lead. 6:25 left, second half. Cameron Diermeyer, then into Victor Noller. Noller going to go up on Polkowski now. They'll send it to the far corner to Robinson, to Polkowski. And loose ball is going to Ryan Nichols of Colfax, or he grabs it. Hovde to Polkowski. Back out to Fisher. Nichols going up. And stealing the ball away is Victor Noller, and he manages to protect it, and Elk Mound's going to keep it. And driving in with a layup, too hard for Cale Knutson. Rebounded by Trey Larson. Larson up the floor to Nichols. Nichols, turnaround jumper is good. 7-point Elk Mound lead, 5.5 minutes to go in the ball game. Robinson over to Netzel. Other side to Knutson. Knutson to Robinson. Robinson out to Diermeyer. Down to Knutson. Fires it off free throw line. Zeb Robinson missed. Rebounded by Nichols for Colfax. Hovde with the ball for the Vikings. Out to Polkowski. Polkowski to Fisher. Fisher 15. No. Rebounded by Knutson of Elk Mound. 7-point lead for Elk Mound. 51-44 over Colfax. 4:40 to go. Second half. Knutson out to Diermeyer. Dutzel. And Elk Mound. Wait for the shot. Robinson tosses in the corner to Dutzel. Into Diermeyer. And Dutzel took a step. Traveling violation going back to the Vikings. Colfax with the ball. Hovde across the timeline. Fires to Polkowski, and we have a timeout, full timeout called by Colfax. 4:11 to go, second half. Elk Mound 51, Colfax 44. You're watching Viking Boys Basketball on NLWN-2.
If you have a high-deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
If your estate isn't looking quite estate-like, let Midwest Environmental Consultants landscape your estate right up to snuff with installation of retaining walls, brick patios, foundation planting beds, and so much more. Then they'll keep it that way with their expert lawn care service. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants help make your estate the showplace of the neighborhood.
Welcome back to Elk Mound. 51-44. Mounders lead the Vikings. 4:11 left, second half. Coming up on January 6th, 2025, the Northern Light Webcasting Network will broadcast our 500th event. Be sure to stay tuned for special announcements and special awards for our loyal viewers. That's all coming up January 6th on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Inbounds throw goes to Theo Hovde. Shoot it off to Orion Nichols, free throw line right. Nichols into Polkowski, back to Hovde. Out on top to Fisher. Fisher drains the three-pointer. 51-47. Elk Mound's lead is cut to 4. Brody Niven up top to Cameron Diermeyer. Inside to Knoller. Knoller hook. No good. Rebounded by Polkowski. Polkowski trying to move it out of there. Tosses it to Hovde. Hovde free throw line right. Aiden Fisher. Three-pointer rolls off. No good. Rebounded by Brody Niven of the Mounders. Cameron Diermeyer with the ball over on the far side. And we have a timeout called by Elk Mound. It's a 30-second timeout. 3:08 to go. Second half. Elk Mound 51, Colfax 47. You're watching Vikings Boys Basketball on NLWN-2.
Hi, Crystal here, and I'm one of Santa's elves. I just wanted to remind you to join us from the North Pole on Christmas Eve for the Northern Light Webcasting Network's Christmas gift to you. We will be featuring some of the finest and holiday-themed old-time radio programs from the golden days of radio. These will include Fibber McGee and Molly, The Jack Benny Show, Screen Guild Theater's production of A Christmas in Connecticut, and an episode of The Shadow. So, join us beginning at 7 p.m. Christmas Eve on NLWN-TV and NLWN-2 for the Northern Light Webcasting Network's Christmas gift to you.
Welcome back. Elk Mound 51, Colfax 47, 3:08 remaining, second half. The Vikings have stayed right with the Mounders, and they're crawling. They're trying to crawl their way back into this one. Robinson, give and go out to Deermeyer for Elk Mound. Back to Robinson. He'll dish it off inside to Knoller. Out in the near corner, Cale Knutson, three-pointer missed. Rebounded by Orion Nichols. Nichols won that rebound battle there, and Theo Hovde with the ball for Colfax. Hovde out to Nichols, down inside to Fisher for the layup on the right side, and it is a 2-point ball game. Elk Mound with the lead inside 2.5 minutes. Deermeyer out to Jerome. Jerome's back in there with 4 fouls for the Mounders. Cale Knutson inside to Jerome, back out to Deermeyer. Deermeyer will drive in off the glass and in. 53-49 Elk Mound as we approach 2 minutes left in the second half. Hovde out to Nichols. Back out on top, Trey Larson. Larson out to Hovde. Hovde going up and in. Oh, that bounced out. No good. Rebounded by Deermeyer. Minute 40 left. Knutson out to Robinson. Three-pointer miss. Ball tipped by Jerome over to Knoller. Knoller back on top to Deermeyer. Out to Cale Knutson.
Colfax has a couple fouls to give you. Getting to the bonus.
Logan Jerome with the ball up top to Knoller. Minute 8 to go. Out to Robinson. In the middle to Jerome.
Got a foul.
And we're going to have a foul on Trey Larson. That's Trey's second foul. Next foul by Colfax will put the Mounders in the bonus. Deermeyer to throw it in. He'll bounce it in to Knutson. Robinson to Knoller. And now he is fouled by Russell Polkowski. That is going to send Knoller to the line for 1-and-1. 50.5 seconds remaining. Second half, it is Elk Mound 53, Colfax 49. A narrow 4-point lead for the Mounders. 1+1 bonus free throws. Knoller's first is good. 54-49. And the second one, the +1, good as well. Colfax 49, Elk Mound 55. And Fisher, three-pointer missed, rebounded by Robinson for the Mounders. Robinson being guarded by Hovde goes to Knutson with a pass out to Knoller, and we're going to have a foul on Aiden Fisher. That is the 8th foul for the Vikings, so that's going to be a 1+1 for Elk Mound, and Victor Knoller back on the free throw line. 27.8 seconds remain. Elk Mound 55, Colfax 49. That one rolls out, no good. Rebounded by Nichols for the Vikings. Nichols to Hovde. Nichols gets it back, top of the key. Catches the back iron for 3, no good. And it goes to Zeb Robinson, and Robinson is fouled by Ryan Nichols. Let's see. Going to be Theo Hovde. That's his 4th foul. 13.3 seconds left in tonight's game. Colfax trails by 6. It's 55-49 Mounders, and Zeb Robinson on the free throw line for Elk Mound. Free throw 1. In and out. Going back to Colfax with 11.2 to go. Colfax down by 6.
Timeout, Colfax.
And the Vikings want a timeout. So 11.2 to go, second half. Elk Mound 55, Colfax 49. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on NLWN-2.
NLWN-2 is once again excited to be your host for Colfax High School Boys Basketball throughout the 2024 through 2025 season.
This is what we came in for.
Our next game will be on Monday, December 30th, when the Vikings travel to Augusta, Wisconsin to take on the Augusta Beavers. Coverage begins with Viking pregame at 6:40 p.m. with live play-by-play to follow. That's live Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on Monday, December 30th on NLWN-2.
NLWN-TV is once again excited to be your host for Colfax High School Girls Basketball throughout the 2024 through 2025 season. Our next Viking girls game will be on Friday, January 3rd, when the Vikings travel to Bloomer High School to take on the Bloomer Blackhawks. Coverage begins with Viking pregame at 6:40 p.m. with live play-by-play to follow. That's live Colfax Viking Girls Basketball on Friday, January 3rd on NLWN-TV.
Join us in only 4 days on NLWN-TV and NLWN-2 for our annual Christmas gift to you, where we bring you some of the finest holiday-themed old-time radio programs. That's Christmas Eve night, 7 p.m. on both NLWN-TV and NLWN-2. And a foul by Cameron Diermeyer of the Vikings. That is only the 6th foul for Elk Mound, so no bonus throws for Colfax yet. Next one at will. Ryan Nichols into Theo Hubdy. Hubdy for 3. Missed. Rebounded by the Mounders' Cale Knutson. And that's the end of the ball game. The Elk Mound Mounders defeat the Colfax Vikings tonight by a score of 55-49. That will put the Vikings conference record at 1 win, 2 losses. They are 1-5 on the season. And the Elk Mound boys go to 2-0 in the conference, and they are 4-1 in the season. JV team, Elk Mound won 66-15. We invite you now to stay tuned for our post-game programming. That's coming up next. You're watching Vikings basketball on NLWN-2.
You need some help?
Your toe chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
You have been tuned to Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-2. This copyrighted production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and Colfax High School is intended for the enjoyment of the viewing and listening audience. Any broadcast, rebroadcast, or reproduction in part or in whole in any form without the express written consent of the Northern Light Webcasting Network, LLC, and Colfax High School is prohibited. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Postgame with a look back at today's game.
In November of 2018, our daughter Jana passed away. The outpouring of support was unbelievable. Support that we received inspired us to start a foundation called the Jana Kelly Memorial Foundation. And through that foundation,
we've given back in a lot of different ways, through projects, through different other charities that we've supported. We like to help Humane Association, and the Ronald McDonald House is something that's very near and dear to us. We've also recently, this last year, we actually built a tiny house. It's really exciting to be able to give back in different ways.
to learn more or to help financially, would find us on Facebook or www.janakelly.com.
Time now for Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. And now, Viking Postgame.
Elk Mound 55, Colfax 49, and we hope to talk with Nick Height, the head coach of the Vikings. The Mounders led at halftime 33-29, and in the second half, it was the margin was 22-20. So Colfax held right in there, but still fell short. JV Mounders won 66-15. Colfax now 1-2 in the conference, 1-5 on the season. The Mounders 2-0 in the conference and 4-1 on the season. Dan, let's take a look at the final numbers.
Yeah, here's scores tonight for the Elk Mound Mounders. They're led by number 34, Victor Nowell. He had 21. Logan Droma at 19. Zeb Robinson at 3. Cale Knudsen at 6. Cameron Diermeyer at 4. And Brody Niven at 2. For the Vikings, they're led tonight by number 4, Aiden Fisher. He had 23 points. Followed by Russell Polkowski with 15. We had Charlie Charbonneau with 3. We had Ryan Nichols with 4. And Theo Hovde with 2.
So Coach Nick Height joins us, and Coach, you mentioned at the end of the game earlier in the week that you wanted to learn things, take them away, and that sort of thing, and that looks like that's happening because your team hung on with one of the best in the Dunsink Croix.
Absolutely. I'm really proud of these guys. They played their tail off tonight, and it was fun to kind of come back home in a good atmosphere. And they played really hard. Some things just don't go your way, and they make some shots. And I thought we battled for 36 minutes. So I'm really proud of these guys, especially when we got down 10 there in the second half. We still came back and made it. Really should have been maybe a 2-point game. I thought Theo's layup was all the way down. So
yeah. That was quite impressive as I was putting the numbers together here. The second half margin was just 22-20.
Yeah, we tip our cap on defense. I thought we did a pretty good job defending the post. Our double down low in the post really gave them fits in the second half. It's a tough place to play. It's a fun environment. Friday night, it's a great rivalry game, and it's just I've been a part of it for a long time, and it's just a fun game to be a part of.
Yeah, the defense, your defense was impressive. The guys were all over the floor, trying to get to be where they needed to be.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's winning basketball, right? When you sacrifice your body, get on the floor, and it's playing together. I thought our offense was a lot more patient tonight. I thought we got really good looks. I'm not. It's a good way to go into the break. I know it would have been nice to get a win, but we've had a brutal schedule. All of our losses. They're a total of 20-4 now. So I keep grinding it out, and we've been right there a lot. So keep telling my kids that in the locker room. I think the morale is really high. So hopefully we can get one December 30th.
You bet. And I noticed the front end of the schedule. A lot of road games too, and that's a little bit different. You got to adjust to the atmosphere.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Right. We're definitely ready to come home. That's for sure. But we got a couple more on the road that we got to take care of. So just keep getting better one day at a time.
You bet. So a break next week, and then following Monday at Augusta.
Yeah.
What do you know about them?
We played them in summer. We'll be ready to go.
Okay. Nick, thanks for talking with us.
Thanks, guys. Hey, you guys have a great Christmas.
Thanks, you as well.
Happy New Year. So, thank you.
Nick Height, head coach of the Colfax Vikings. Close, 55-49.
Yeah, that was a good battle. Colfax ain't the biggest team, but they really fought. Some of those Hovde, Trey Larson, your two smallest guys really scrapped. I thought Ryan Nichols did a really good job helping out Polkowski inside. And, it just came up a little short tonight.
Yeah, and I go back quite a ways in Colfax basketball history, and you talk about the smaller guys, and, you know, it was the little people that won that state championship for the Colfax Vikings, you know, a long time. And, you know, it's great to have that additional size, but, you know, if you can scrap it out, not having that, yeah.
And we saw that in the first play of the game. Hovde took the ball away from Elk Mound, you know, as a size advantage.
So the Colfax Vikings fall short tonight, 55-49, and their next contest a week from Monday at Augusta. We'll be there with them. Coverage starts with Viking pregame at 6:40, followed by live play-by-play action. Tonight's Colfax High School basketball game brought to you by Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for Western Wisconsin. Anderson Bridges, who have been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Menominee Eye and Optical with quality personalized care for you and your family. C&K Construction. Concrete experts for the Chippewa Valley, and Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Comfort food the way Mom used to make it. We hope that you'll thank these fine sponsors by doing business with them soon. Also, join us on Christmas Eve night, Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, our annual Christmas gift to you with Old Time Radio. For executive producer Rick Olson and our camera operator Chris Olson, along with Dan Petchaw, I'm Jay Fall. Thanks a lot for joining us. Have a very merry and blessed Christmas, and we'll see you soon. Good night.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.